turning an old farm truck into an all-purpose off-road beast. What if I told you the most unstoppable off-road machine doesn't come from a shiny dealership, but from a rusty field behind an old barn? According to recent stats, more than 60% of retired farm trucks are still mechanically sound, just waiting for a second life. Now, imagine turning that forgotten relic into an all-terrain, mud-loving monster, capable of crawling over rocks, ripping through sand, and towing like a diesel locomotive. Sounds crazy? Well, stay with me, because what you're about to see might change the way you look at every old truck on the side of the road. In this video, we're diving into how you can transform a beaten-down farm truck into a full-blown off-road legend. Whether you're a DIY builder, a weekend warrior, or someone who just loves the raw sound of a growling V8, this guide is packed with jaw-dropping mods, real-world advice, and enough hooks to keep your wrench hand itching. Let's build something wild. Frame reinforcement and rust revival. Let's start where most people overlook, the bones. That's right, the truck frame. You can bolt on all the power and flash you want, but if your frame is cracked, corroded, or weak, the whole thing falls apart. Farm trucks usually come with frames caked in rust and mud from years of loyal service, which means your first challenge is identifying structural damage versus surface rust. But here's the good news. These old frames were often overbuilt. With a wire brush, some POR-15 rust converter, and reinforcement welds in the right places, you can turn decades of decay into something rock solid. And let's not pretend sandblasting isn't one of the most satisfying things on Earth. It's like giving the truck a second birth. Just be sure to check for rot near the cab mounts and leaf spring hangers. If you treat this step with care, your build gets a solid spine. Because what good is an off-road beast if it crumbles the first time you hit a trail? Suspension overhaul for real travel. Here's where the transformation starts to feel real, when that old farm suspension turns into something trail-worthy. Most farm trucks were built for hauling hay, not flexing over boulders. That means stiff leaf springs, basic shocks, and zero articulation. But once you swap in a long travel suspension, add heavy-duty shocks like Bilstein or Fox, and replace those tired bushings, the truck starts to move like an entirely different animal. This is the point where the truck stops being a workhorse and starts being a warrior. Yes, you'll face some tricky alignment issues, and you may need to weld custom brackets, but don't panic. Suspension mods are some of the most documented and supported in the off-road community. Drivetrain swap or diesel redemption. All right, time to talk guts. The engine and transmission are where most people freeze, especially with older trucks that barely crank over. But listen, this is your chance to choose power, torque, and soul. If your farm truck came with a tired inline-6 or a burnt-out V8, don't toss it just yet. Many of these engines, especially old diesels like the 12-valve Cummins or Ford's 7.3 Powerstroke, are absolute tanks when rebuilt. But if you're itching for modern reliability with raw performance, a drivetrain swap might be the way. Think LS swaps, turbo diesels, or even electric conversions if you're bold. Just be prepared for wiring headaches and sensor madness. Tires that eat terrain for breakfast. Let's face it, off-road tires are like the shoes of your build. No matter how strong the engine or sexy the suspension, if your tires can't grip, you're just spinning in place. Farm trucks usually come with dry-rotted, narrow tires meant for dirt roads and fields. But once you slap on a set of wide, aggressive, all-terrain or mud-terrain tires, think Toyo Open Country, BF Goodrich K02, or Nitto Trail Grapplers, you unlock the truck's true potential. Sure, you'll need to re-gear your diffs to handle the size jump, and maybe trim a few fenders, but what you gain in capability is insane. The grip, the ground clearance, the confidence when you drop into mud, it's like equipping your truck with claws. Just don't go too extreme unless you want your daily commute to feel like a tractor ride. Locking differentials and axle armor. Now we're getting serious. One of the biggest game changers in off-road driving is traction, and that means locking differentials. Most farm trucks came with open diffs, which are great for turning on flat ground but terrible for climbing or crawling. Upgrading to selectable lockers, like A, R, B, or Eaton, lets you send power to both wheels equally when you need it most. It's like going from dancing in flip-flops to stomping in combat boots. While you're under there, beef up those axles with skid plates and trusses. Old axle tubes can bend under pressure, and rocks don't care how vintage your truck is. Protect your underbelly like it's your phone screen. With strong diffs and armor, you don't just survive trails, you dominate them. Recovery gear integration. Let's be honest, you will get stuck. That's part of the fun. But how fast you get out depends on how smart you build. Integrating recovery gear into your truck, like a winch, recovery points, and onboard air, is like adding a toolbox to your trail reputation. A high-quality winch, like a Warn or Smitty-built, is more than a flex, it's your lifeline. Farm trucks usually have strong bumpers or frames that can be adapted to mount winches easily. Add D-rings, a recovery hitch, and maybe even a snorkel if you plan to cross water. Because nothing kills the vibe like a hydro-locked engine in the middle of nowhere. Recovery gear doesn't just save your truck, it saves your weekend. Interior upgrades for comfort and utility. Let's step inside. Farm trucks aren't exactly known for luxury. Most smell like diesel, hay, or both. But with the right upgrades, you can make the cabin not only bearable but downright awesome. Start with sound deadening mats like Dynamat to reduce noise. Add modern seats, maybe from a newer model or an aftermarket supplier. And suddenly those long drives feel way less like punishment. Upgrade the dash with digital gauges, USB ports, and a solid navigation system. Off-road doesn't have to mean off-comfort. Just remember, form follows function. Don't clutter your cab with tech if it's going to rattle loose on the first hill. Keep it rugged, useful, and just comfortable enough to make you want to stay in the driver's seat a little longer. Lighting that turns night into day. Ever tried to navigate a trail in the dark with old halogens? It's like playing a horror game on hardcore mode. Upgrading your truck's lighting isn't just about looking cool, it's survival. LED light bars, ditch lights, rock lights, and high-output headlights let you see everything before it surprises you. Brands like Rigid Industries or Baja Designs make lights that literally turn night into day. And the best part? Farm trucks often have simple wiring that makes adding circuits relatively easy. Throw in a switch panel, keep your wiring clean, and you'll have lighting that makes you feel like you're piloting a spaceship through the woods. Armor and skid plate systems. What good is an off-road beast if its belly gets torn open on the first rock? Skid plates are the unsung heroes of trail builds. Farm trucks usually have exposed oil pans, transfer cases, and fuel tanks, none of which are built to take a hit. Installing full underbody protection transforms your old hauler into a trail-ready tank. Use quarter-inch steel, bolt-on kits, or even custom weld-on solutions. This is one of those upgrades you hope you never need, but when you do, you'll be glad you didn't cheap out. Plus, who doesn't love the sound of armor sliding across granite like a war machine? Drop a comment and tell us what truck you're working on or what mod you're planning next. And if you love watching underdogs become unstoppable machines, make sure you subscribe for more builds, guides, and gear breakdowns coming soon. Thanks for watching, and keep building wild.